Welcome to polynomial functions.
Let's look now at naming polynomials. The name of a polynomial has two different parts to it. One part comes from the number of terms. The other part comes from the degree of the polynomial. Let's look first at the number of terms. We have some examples of polynomials here in the left column. Notice on the first one that we only have one term. That is called a monomial. The prefix mono means one. So if we have one term, it's called a monomial. If we have two terms, like the second example here, that's called a binomial. And if you think about, common everyday items, think about a bicycle. A bicycle has two wheels. So that prefix bi means two, so binomial. Or if we have three terms, that's a trinomial. Think tricycle with three wheels, tri. So three terms is a trinomial. And then for more than three terms, we don't have a special name. So for example, for this one here, we have four terms. That's just going to be a polynomial. Now, it's important to note that monomials, binomials, and trinomials are also polynomials. They just have special names. Let's look now at the degree of a polynomial. So the degree of a polynomial is going to be the exponent on the leading term, or in other words, it's the highest exponent that you have on the polynomial. Like on this one here, 3x squared plus x minus 1. The highest exponent is 2. So this is a second degree polynomial, which has the name quadratic. So it's a quadratic polynomial. The first one here, we have a 3 by itself. Remember, we talked previously about if we have a constant like this, it equals 3 times 1, which equals, remember that x to the 0 equals 1 because anything to the 0 is just 1. So 3 is equal to 3x to the 0. We just don't ever write the x to the 0. So you can see here that the degree is 0. And the name for that is a constant polynomial. On the next one, we have an understood 1 as our degree here above the x. So this one is a first degree polynomial, which is called linear, a linear polynomial. And then we already talked about the third row, that if the polynomial has a degree of 2, that we call that a quadratic polynomial. The third one, notice that it has a degree of 3. This is a cubic polynomial. For the fourth one, we have a degree of 4, which is a quartic polynomial. And then if we have a degree of 5, that's a quintic polynomial. Above that, we just name the degree. Like if we had 6 there, we would just say 6th degree polynomial, or 7 would be a 7th degree polynomial. We don't use a special name for that. So let's look now at example 2. Example 2 asks us to name the polynomials. For part A, we have 2x squared plus 3x. Notice that the degree of the leading term here is 2. So that's the highest degree of our polynomial. So the degree is 2, which means that it is quadratic. And then we have two terms, which means it's a binomial. So this is a quadratic binomial. Part B, we have 5x to the 5th minus 3x plus 1. Notice that the degree here is 5, and then we have 3 terms. So for degree 5, that's called quintic. 3 terms is a trinomial. So this is a quintic trinomial.